Welcome to Fast Five, where our four panelists weigh in on 5 separate topics. Let's get started. Henry,
Yeah.
US B-1 bombers fly over South Korea and show of force. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a start. Going into North Korean airspace will really be a show of force. That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
Do you know I was at a baby shower in Tucson, Arizona, Sunday? I sat beside of a B-1 bomber pilot now who used to work for Channel 25 as an engineer, and his ex-wife's family ran the butcher shop in Chambersburg. A B-1 bomber pilot. So you think you want to show more force. So your man would be up in North Korea going. Anyway. Next we have, what do you think on the B-1 bombers?
I think North Korea is getting a bit big for their britches lately. So is the solution having the bombers fly over South Korea? I don't know. I think North Korea is a rumbling volcano that's ready to erupt. So from a strategic, governmental, we're at the Pentagon, we're at the Oval Office, how do we respond and how do we keep them from boiling over, from erupting? I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going to defer to Danielle, then I'll pick it up.
I was going to say, I believe they're on their 5th major nuclear test now, and I see it as the U.S. Flexing their muscles, if you will.
And we have to do that
A
occasionally.
little saber rattling.
Well, it's saber rattling. I'm sure somebody will send Dennis Rodman over to
Smooth things over.
Yeah,
Yes.
smooth things over.
Let's have
everywhere.
smoke a peace pipe.
Uh,
Growing marijuana.
Okay, Janice. Protesters cut in on Lockie's first dance on Dancing with the Stars. What do you think of that?
I don't know. We just seem to be so focused on protesting at every opportunity, every time you turn around. And not to say that protesting doesn't get something done, but it's just, okay, how do we get everybody to the table to have a conversation? And how do you actually get them to check their egos at the door and sit down and actually talk with open minds? Because what really needs to happen in order to get rid of the protests is to sit down and have a come to Jesus meeting where park your attitude, park your ego, everything at the door, and let's sit down and come up with some kind of strategy, some kind of solution where everybody wins and we can actually get something done and move on past it. Like it's 2016.
I want to know, what would the conversation actually be in this case? Was it really a protest? These were people that were attending a taping with these lock T-shirts on. I mean, what really motivated them to get to that point to protest something about it? All they really did was walk on stage and got tackled.
15 seconds of fame.
Exactly. That's how I see it.
15 seconds of fame.
Kind of reminds me of the people that snuck over the fence at the White House and like what was it?
Attended the party,
the
yeah.
couple that crashed the party,
Right.
and then they found out that they actually weren't invited and somehow they got in. It kind of reminds me of them.
Definitely.
Okay, let's move on now. Anybody here surprised that John Boehner just joined the board of Reynolds Tobacco Company? Is there any surprises there about that?
No, I'm glad he's gone. I mean, he's going to do something. I guess the man needs more income. So, he didn't earn enough being in the House for how many decades. So, working for Reynolds Company, I guess is something in his wheelhouse.
Okay, now there's the local guy, congressman. He's finally out. What do you think? He'll have a new replacement.
About time we get some fresh blood in.
Fresh blood or new blood or... How about
Fresh ideas.
Fresh ideas. Tested. Comes out of the business world and tobacco. And then goes in, and what's he do with what he's learned so far? You got an opinion?
I'm not surprised whatsoever, and I think it's just classic Washington corruption for you.
Agreed.
Okay. Ford. They're going to move some of their cars out They're going to move them down to Mexico.
You
the
know,
small cars.
You know, the funny thing is, I was talking to someone earlier today. Some companies are actually looking to return to the U.S. because they discover that as they start to import and the benefits of NAFTA are negated when they start to build stuff in Mexico and bring them back into the U.S. because of certain components have to be a certain percentage, et cetera. So businesses are starting to look the inverse. But the problem that we have is we need competitive markets. We want the cheapest cars possible that are going to be reliable. So Ford is doing what they feel is in their best business interest. And a lot of this is all done by automation. So you might only have 2 people on a manufacturing line, whereas 20 years ago, we had 20 people on a manufacturing line. So how many jobs are we really losing?
And how many of those jobs, the parts, go to Mexico to be put in those cars that are built here in the U.S. of A.?
Or anywhere else?
Yeah. That next question. Bad words on license plates get reviewed by Maryland's High Court. What do you think of that?
I think Janice should be the censor.
Did anybody get to see the list, by the way? I think there's a list posted on the website that you could check if your combination is acceptable or not. And there was about 5,000 combinations. If you have a couple minutes, check it out. I got a really good laugh out of it and even blushed a little bit. So really entertaining.
It's kind of one of those things that somebody's reading it and it's like they have no idea what it says or if you pronounce it a different way, what it actually says.
Since it's in Spanish, I wonder if the Constitution really is. It's not freedom of speech if it's in Spanish.
As long as they're in the country as a legal entity, we're good to go.
We're good to go. You've had the last word. Stay tuned. Last call is next.